All right, so once you have downloaded and extracted the starting files, then you should have a folder structure that looks like this. And this will include all of the starting files. So let's first take a look at it. So we're going to be using EJS to template and lay out our website. So we've got a header and a footer. And in the header, all we have are just some style sheets. We're going to be using Font Awesome, and we're going to be using Bootstrap. And then I've got a link towards the custom style sheet, which is over there. And all it does is it sets the body and sets certain things centered, and also gives the secrets text a little bit of formatting. Now on our home page, we've got a Jumbotron, so that comes from Bootstrap. If you've forgotten, take a look at the documentation, and it's centered using our custom CSS over here. Inside the Jumbotron, I've got an icon of a key and an H1 and a paragraph. And then there are two buttons down here, one that says register and one that says login. And these buttons each hit up their respective routes, which we will set up in our app.js very shortly. Now on the login page, it's laid out using Bootstrap. So our login form takes up a third of the width of the website. And this uses Bootstrap grids. And we cover that in detail in the Bootstrap section. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you the most important part of this page, which is our form over here. And this form makes a post request to our login route, and it sends over a username, which is going to be the user's email, and also a password, which is going to be set by the user. And finally, there's a submit button, which is going to read login. And that's going to send the post request to our login route, and it's going to be caught in our server. Now, on our register site, it's pretty much identical, other than the fact that this hits up the register route, making the post request, and the button says register. So it's a very, very simple registration form. And then once they have registered or logged in successfully, they're able to finally access this secret page. And this page is going to be the one that requires authentication to access. And we're going to make sure that there's no way of accessing it unless the user is logged in. And finally, there's a submit page, which we're going to look at a little bit later on when we want our users to start submitting their own secrets. And this form is going to send a post request to the submit route, and it's going to send over the secret that the user types into the text field. And this is all that there is. Now, finally, if you take a look inside our app.js, you can see that we've just got the very basic modules that we always use: Express, Body Parser, and EJS. And we're adding our public folder as a static resource. We're setting our view engine to be EJS, and we've also set up Body Parser. And at the very bottom, we've just got some code to start our server on port 3000. So this should be intimately familiar to you by now, but if not, make sure you have a look back at the beginning of the Node module where we covered this in detail. Now in our code, we're requiring all of these packages, but you'll notice that in your project folder, we don't yet have a packages.json, and that is because we haven't installed these packages. Now we're going to open up our hyperterminal, and you're going to CD over to wherever your project folder is. So in my case, the project files for the secrets project is on my desktop, so I'm going to CD into there. Yours might be in downloads or wherever it may be. Once we're there, we're going to run npm init, and I'm going to set the Y flag to answer yes to everything as usual. And then I'm going to install some packages. And the packages that we pretty much always need are Express and EJS and Body Parser. So let's go ahead and install all three of those packages. So once it's completed doing that, then we should now have our package.json updated with our three dependencies: Body Parser, EJS, and Express. So we're ready to go and build out our server now. The first things first, we want to be able to view some of these websites So we're going to have to add some app.gets in here. So I'm going to target the home route or the root route, and here I'm going to render my home page. So I'm going to just use res.render, and we're going to render the page that is called home.ejs. And then we're going to do the same, and I'm just going to copy and paste it so you don't get bored watching this. And we're going to change it to the login route, the register route, and we're going to change the render to the login page and the register page. And that's it. So now let's go ahead and just double check our code that we don't have any forward slashes in the res.renders, and we've saved our file, and we can go ahead and start NodeMon app.js. And you can see our server started on port 3000. So let's go ahead and check it out. So here is our home page rendered, and you can see that's where our little fun awesome icon comes from, our H1, our little title there, and we've got our register and login buttons. So if I click on register, it should take me to /register, and that's because that button makes a GET request to that route, which we target in here, and it renders the register page, which looks something like this. Very simple, just 2 fields, email and password, set up very simply using Bootstrap cards and Bootstrap forms. And if we go back and click on login, then it takes us to the login page, which looks pretty much identical. So now our website is pretty much set up and ready for us to start adding some authentication to it so that we can see if a user is registered or logged in before we allow them to view the secrets page. So in the next lesson, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be creating our user's account on a MongoDB database, and we're going to be authenticating them using our level 1 security authentication. So for all of that and more, I'll see you on the next lesson.